Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Joey Harris, and we are broadcasting from makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia. You can follow the show on Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod. You can email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. To support the show, go to paypal.me/cupofjoepod. And folks, we are back at it again. One of my busy times at my workplace. I work for college housing, and this is our second busiest time of the year. Our first is move in, second move out. So I've been dealing with that. We had graduation and in the process of moving people out now. So I'm going to try to record a bunch of episodes to get them in the can before summer starts, and I have a lot of time that I'm away, so I don't want to miss anything. So if something big happens and I don't talk about it, that's why. But today we look at Halloween Havoc 93 from WCW. Halloween Havoc 93 was shown on pay-per-view on October the 24th, 1993 from the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. There were 6,000 people in attendance. We start out with an intro with Tony Schiavone and Trick or Treaters. Eric Bischoff welcomes us to Halloween Havoc. He runs down what we're going to see and throws it to Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura, who will call the action. Jesse is dressed as a creepy doctor, and Tony is dressed as Jesse. They talk about spin the wheel, make the deal. 6-man tag team match, Harlem Heat and the Equalizer versus the Shockmaster, Ice Train, and Charlie Norris. Cole and Train start. They lock up and drive to the ropes. Break clean. Another lock up and Train with a side headlock. Cole pushes off and Train comes back with a shoulder block. Cole comes back with elbows to the head of Train. Train with a scoop slam. Kane tagged in. He gets to run Train into a turnbuckle, but Train runs Cole in instead. He goes to run Train into a turnbuckle, but Train runs Cole in instead. Train with a hammerlock and Norris tagged in. Norris with a chop. He gets a wrist lock. He transitions to an arm lock. Shockmaster tagged in. He goes to work on the arm. He drops a leg on Cole's arm, and Norris tagged in. He hits Cole and Ice Train tagged in. Faces quick tagging. Train with a side headlock, Cole with an Irish whip, and Kane hits Train with a kick as he was shot in. Kane tagged in. Double side slam, and Kane gets a 2 count. Kane stomps Train and Equalizer tagged in. He stomps Train and gets a rear chin lock on. Back and forth. Equalizer rakes Train's face. Train drives Equalizer to the mat. Norris tagged in. Equalizer pushes Norris off, and Norris tries a shoulder block that doesn't knock Equalizer down. Shockmaster tagged in. Shockmaster with a series of shoulder blocks and a slam. Train tagged in. Double elbow to Equalizer, and Norris tagged in. He chops Equalizer down, but Harlem Heat breaks up the pin. Norris with a corner charge, but Equalizer comes back with a big boot and a clothesline. Cole tagged in and hits a scoop slam for a 2 count. Kane tagged in. Double clothesline to Norris. Kane drops a knee and a spinning kick. He goes for a move from the second rope, but Norris moves. Shockmaster tagged in and he's cleaning house. He gets a bear hug slam to get the pin. Shockmaster and Equalizer brawl after the match. Eric Bischoff interviews the returning Terry Taylor, who's going to be the second referee for the Ric Flair-Rick Rude match. He says he's going to call it down the middle. Paul Orndorff with the Assassin versus Ricky Steamboat. Steamboat does his fire-breathing routine. The fans chant Paula. Orndorff attacks Steamboat as soon as the bell rings. He is relentless. Orndorff with a snapmare. Steamboat comes back with a roll-up for a 2 count. Orndorff with the clothesline. Steamboat rolls out to regroup, but Orndorff follows. Back and forth. Steamboat slammed on the ramp. Orndorff then scoop slams Steamboat on the ramp again. Orndorff with an elbow to Steamboat. Steamboat goes for a crossbody to Orndorff, but Orndorff moves out of the way. They trade moves. Orndorff with a series of 2 counts. Steamboat with a hammerlock. Into an armbar and Orndorff trying to get out of it. Orndorff gets out, but Steamboat with a crossbody for a 2 count. Steamboat goes back to the arm and Orndorff gets to the ropes. Steamboat wraps the arm around the ring post. Steamboat runs Orndorff into the post again. The assassin comes over to check on Orndorff and Steamboat chops Orndorff. Steamboat sends Orndorff into the barricade. Steamboat goes after referee Nick Patrick after Patrick tries to get Steamboat away. Steamboat jams Orndorff's arm on the top rope. Steamboat goes to work on the arm. Steamboat with an arm bar and tries to break Orndorff's fingers. Steamboat acting the most like a heel I've ever seen in his career. Orndorff gets out. Orndorff misses an elbow drop. Steamboat with some clotheslines. Steamboat attacks Orndorff in the corner. They trade shots. Orndorff rolls out to regroup, but Steamboat follows him out and attacks Orndorff again. Orndorff comes back and runs Steamboat into the apron. He runs Steamboat over the barricade. Orndorff throws Steamboat back in. He hits an elbow smash for a 2 count. Double crossbody attempts and both men down. A double count going. Orndorff with a roll up, but he holds on to the ropes and gets caught. Steamboat reverses for a 2 count. Orndorff thrown out onto the ramp. Steamboat follows and Atomic drops Orndorff back in. Steamboat hits a top rope chop. He gets a 2 count. Steamboat with a chop and another 2 count. Orndorff comes back with a shot. Steamboat reverses a pile driver attempt into a backdrop and cover, but Orndorff reaches out. Steamboat catapults Orndorff into the corner. Steamboat with a roll up for a 2 count. Steamboat with a belly to back suplex and then hits a flying body press, but the assassin gets up on the apron to distract referee Nick Patrick, which is funny considering that's his son. Steamboat only gets a 2 count. Steamboat with a shoulder block for another 2 count. Orndorff ran into the buckle. Orndorff pulls the rope down and Steamboat spills to the outside. Assassin puts something in his mask and headbutts Steamboat. Steamboat gets counted out. Tony and Jesse talk about the TV title match as well as the International World title. WCW World Television Championship match. Lord Steven Regal with Sir William versus Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. The bell rings and they circle each other. Regal with great facial expressions. Regal with a wrist lock. Smith reverses it. They trade holds. Regal gets Smith down with a wrist lock. Smith keeps getting out of Regal's moves. Smith with a monkey flip. Regal with an arm drag takeover. They trade holds again. Regal with an arm bar into a cravat. Smith with a surfboard. Sir William gets up on the apron to distract Smith. Back and forth. Smith with a flying body press. Regal with a snapmare and a roll for a 2 count. Regal with a hold. Smith trying to fight to get out of it. Regal runs Smith into the turnbuckle for a 2 count. Regal with a flurry of offense. Smith with a sunset flip for a 2 count. Regal back to a head and body hold. 4 minutes left. Smith with a clothesline. He follows it up with a corner whip, but Regal gets his knees up on a charge. Regal back to the head and body hold. 3 minutes left. Regal with almost an STF on. Smith powers out. Regal gets Smith back down for a 2 count. Half Nelson crossface by Regal. 2 minutes left. Smith back to his feet. He gets Regal up on his shoulders, but Regal grabs the ropes to get out. He gets the 2 count. They trade holds and covers. 1 minute left. Smith with the clothesline. Smith with the running power slam. 30 seconds left. He gets a 2 count. 15 seconds left. Smith with a pile driver and cover, but time runs out. The match is a draw. The crowd boos. Eric Bischoff is with Vader and Harley Race to conduct the spin. Vader spins. The Texas Death Match is chosen. United States Championship match. Dustin Rhodes versus Steve Austin. This is the first match tonight, folks, that as I'm recording this, both participants are still alive. Third Halloween Havoc in a row for Austin and Rhodes to wrestle each other. The bell rings and they circle each other. Austin slaps at Rhodes. They vie for position. Austin slaps Rhodes again. Austin rolls to the outside. Back in. Austin goes for the Boston Crab. Rhodes slaps at Austin, who backs away. They circle each other again. Austin with a back elbow. He follows it up with the right hand. Austin with a punch and a knee. Austin with a snapmare. Rhodes with a snapmare of his own. Austin with a headlock and a closed fist. Austin back to the side headlock. Rhodes with a drop kick. Rhodes runs Austin into the corner. Austin beating Rhodes down in the corner. Austin with a corner whip, but Rhodes moves on the charge and Austin lands out on the floor. Austin holding his knee on the floor. He gets up limping. Austin gets in and Rhodes goes for the injured leg. Rhodes working on the injured knee. Rhodes with the leg lock. Austin gets to the ropes. He kicks Rhodes' leg. Back and forth. Austin beating Rhodes down in the corner. Austin with a snapmare. He gets a 2 count. Rhodes runs Austin into the turnbuckle. Austin drops a knee on Rhodes. He gets a 2 count. They trade shots. Rose with a backdrop. Rose with a clothesline. He gets a 2 count. Rose signals for the Bulldog, but Austin picks Rose up and slams him on the buckle. Austin hitting Rose on the buckle. Rose in the Tree of Woe. Austin kicks Rose. He hits a knee lift. Rose with a roll up for a 2 count. He tries again and gets another 2 count. They trade 2 counts. Austin running from Rose. Austin rolls Rose up with his feet on the ropes to get the pin. Referee Nick Patrick then waves it off as Austin looks for the belt. Rose rolls Austin up to get the pin. Austin hits Rose with the belt after the match. We get a Battle Bowl ad. Flashback to Too Cold Scorpio and Marcus Bagwell winning the Tag Team Championships the night before on WCW Saturday Night. WCW World Tag Team Championship match. Too Cold Scorpio and Marcus Bagwell with Teddy Long versus the Nasty Boys Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags with Missy Hyatt. Second match with all participants still alive as I record this. Tag champs get a tremendous reaction when they come out. Nasty Boys grab the belts before the match and Scorpio and Bagwell attack them from behind. The champions then hit the Nasty Boys with the belts and the Nasty Boys roll to the outside. Hyatt gets on the apron and Bagwell goes over and kisses her. The crowd goes wild. Sags and Bagwell start. Sags attacks Bagwell in the corner. He gets Bagwell down and Knobbs tagged in. Nasty Boys quick tagging, but Bagwell comes back with a drop kick and Scorpio with a crossbody to the Nasty Boys. Nasty Boys clothesline to the outside. Nasty Boys regroup with Missy, only for Scorpio to hit them with a suicide dive. Knobbs in against Bagwell. They trade wrist locks. Scorpio tagged in. Double team to Knobbs. Back and forth. Scorpio with a roll up for a 2 count. Scorpio with a drop toe hold and an armbar. Bagwell tagged in and gets a 2 count. Bagwell with a Thez press for a 2 count. Sags tagged in and gets hip toss. Scorpio tagged in. Double elbow and Scorpio gets a 2 count. Scorpio with an armbar. Sags with a series of right hands to Scorpio. Scorpio with a reverse crossbody. Scorpio with a drop kick and back to the armbar. Nasty Boys double team Bagwell and guillotine him on the top rope, and he falls out to the floor. Sags holds Bagwell and Hyatt slaps him. Sags hits a belly to back suplex on the floor. Back in, Knobbs with a suplex for a 2 count. Sags tagged in. He hits Bagwell's back with some forearms. Sags with a leg drop for a 2 count. Knobbs tagged in. He drops a series of elbows on Bagwell. Sags tagged in and drops an elbow for a 2 count. Sags with a corner whip and a leg drop. Knobbs in and covers Bagwell for a 2 count, but the referee says no tag was made. Knobbs with a bear hug. Scorpio and Long complaining about no tag. Sags tagged back in anyway. Sags with a clothesline. Knobbs tagged in. Bagwell pulls Knobbs' hair to get Knobbs down. Nasty Boys distract referee Randy Anderson so Anderson doesn't see Scorpio tagged in, and Anderson stops Scorpio. Nasty Boys double team Bagwell. Bagwell ducks a Knobbs corner charge and clotheslines Sags. Scorpio tagged in and cleans house. Scorpio with a corner splash to Knobbs and hits a moonsault for a 2 count. Hyatt gets on the apron. Long also gets up and he and Hyatt are fighting on the apron. All 4 men in. Scorpio hits the 450 splash on Knobbs, but Sags hits Scorpio with his boot as Anderson was trying to get Bagwell out. Knobbs gets the pin and the Nasty Boys regain the titles. Eric Bischoff talks to Sid Vicious and Colonel Robert Parker. Vicious says it's time for Sting to step in the ring with Vicious. Match to see who is the franchise of WCW. Sid Vicious with Colonel Robert Parker versus Sting. Third match in a row with both participants are still alive, and I believe it's our last match with that. We'll see. Sting gets a great reaction when he comes out. Vicious attacks Sting as soon as the bell rings. Vicious misses a clothesline and Sting hits a scoop slam. Sting with a pair of clotheslines. Vicious rolls out to regroup. Sting comes out and they fight out into the crowd. Sting throws Vicious back to ringside. It gets back in the ring. Sting with a top rope clothesline for a 2 count. Parker grabs Sting for Vicious to get a choke slam. He follows it up with a double axe handle. Sting collapses to the mat. Vicious stomping Sting down in the corner. He keeps stomping Sting on the mat. Vicious with a side suplex. Parker choking Sting while Vicious distracts referee Nick Patrick. Sting comes out and chases Parker. Parker distracts Patrick so that Vicious can attack Sting with a chair. Sting dropped on the barricade. Back in, Vicious attacks Sting's back. Sting trying to fight back. Vicious with a rear chin lock. Sting fighting back. Sid gets a 2 count. Vicious with a bear hug. Sting gets out, but Vicious hits a big boot. Vicious goes back to the bear hug. Sting gets out and attacks Vicious. He hits a pair of stinger splashes. They battle by the ropes, and Parker grabs Vicious's boot, thinking it stings, and Sting gets a 2 count. Vicious pissed at Parker and grabs Parker, allowing Sting to roll Parker up from behind and get the pin. Vicious screams at Parker, who's trying to explain himself. Vader and Cactus Jack both shown getting ready. WCW International World Heavyweight Championship match. Rick Rude versus Ric Flair with Fifi. Flair and Fifi out first to a nice ovation. Rude out and does his usual pre-match routine. Terry Taylor is the second referee along with Randy Anderson. Taylor will be the referee on the floor. Flair attacks Rude as soon as the bell rings. Flair with a backdrop. Flair chops Rude in the corner. Flair with a suplex. Flair with a corner whip and a clothesline. He tries it a second time and Rude gets a knee up. Back and forth. Flair gets the figure 4 on. Rude fighting to get out. Rude gets to the ropes. Flair drags Rude to the corner and runs the leg into the post. Flair attacking the leg in the ring. Rude grabs the hair to try to break the hold. Rude throws Flair to the outside. Back in. Rude with the cover with his hands on the ropes. Taylor gets the hands off and Flair gets a roll up for a 2 count. Flair chopping Rude. They both fall out onto the floor. Flair chopping Rude on the outside. Flair goes up top and hits a forearm to Rude on the outside. Drink all you have, folks. Flair chops Rude. Flair goes back up top, but Rude catches him with a shot as he comes off. Rude grabs a chair, but Taylor takes it away from Rude. Back and forth on the outside, and Flair ran into the barricade. Rude guillotines Flair on the ropes. Rude with a backbreaker for a 1 count. Rude with a chin lock. Rude taunts Fifi in the corner. Rude goes up top and hits a forearm. Rude injured, but gets a pair of 2 counts. Rude goes back to the modified camel clutch. Flair trying to fight off. Rude comes down on Flair's back. Both men hurting. Rude with a corner whip, and Flair hits the cameraman. Flops over the apron, and Rude hits Flair with a clothesline. Rude suplexes Flair back in. Rude goes up top. Rude hits a top rope chop for a 2 count. He gets several counts, but can't get the 3 count. They get tangled in the ropes. They trade shots in the corner. Rude with a corner whip and a clothesline for a pair of 2 counts. Rude with a bear hug. He gets Flair down on his back, still in the hold. He gets a series of 2 counts. Rude runs Flair into the mat and gets a 2 count. Flair with chops, back and forth. Flair with a sleeper. Rude gets to the ropes. Rude goes up top, but Flair ducks the shot and hits a rude awakening on Rude. He gets a 2 count. Flair goes up top and comes off, but Rude gets his foot up. Flair chopping Rude in the corner. Rude versus a corner whip, and Anderson gets taken out. Rude with a clothesline. Taylor slides into the ring. Flair with an Irish whip, and Rude runs into Taylor, knocking him down. Rude takes a foreign object out of his pants and swings at Flair, who ducks and hits Rude with a belly-to-back suplex. Rude drops the object. Flair gets the object, hits Rude, and Taylor makes the 3 count. Anderson is in the ring and says no. Anderson disqualifies Flair. Some fans chant bullshit. Rude grabs Fifi and carries her towards the back. Flair hits Rude with the belt and puts the figure 4 on Rude on the ramp. The referees break it up. We get another Battle Bowl ad. Tony and Jesse discuss the rules of the Texas Death Match. Main event Texas Death Match. Cactus Jack versus Vader with Harley Race. Vader attacks Jack on the ramp as Jack comes out and they start to brawl. Vader ran into the posts and the barricade. They trade shots. Jack bites Vader. Cactus hits Vader with a chair. It goes into the ring. Vader with a big clothesline. Vader beating Jack down in the corner. Jack out on the ramp, and Vader tries to suplex him back in, but Jack has hooked the bottom rope. Jack suplexes Vader out to the ramp. Cactus pounds Vader on the ramp and hits a belly-to-back suplex. Race comes over to hit Jack with a chair, but gets caught by Jack. Jack hits Vader with the chair. They battle over to the graveyard set. They fight down below the set, and with the fog, you can barely see them. Cactus climbs out. Jack walks back to the ring, and he is busted open. Vader comes out, and he's bleeding as well. Jack hits Vader with a clothesline to get the pin. Rest period. Vader gets up, but gets hit with a piece of scenery from Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack hits Vader with an elbow off the ramp to get another fall. Rest period. Vader up, and Cactus attacks him. Vader pulls Cactus off the ramp. They trade blows. Cactus sets a table up in the ring. Vader beats Cactus down in the corner. Vader ran into the corner, and Jack gets a 2 count. Jack tries to sunset flip off the apron, but Vader won't go over. Vader goes to squash Jack, who moves. Jack dumps Vader on the apron and goes to hit a running clothesline, but Vader moves. Vader dumps Jack back to ringside. Vader hits Cactus with a chair and slams Cactus down in the ring, and Vader moonsaults and pins Jack. Rest period. Jack up and Vader throws Jack out to the ramp. Race puts a chair on the ramp. Jack jumps on Vader's back. Vader slams Jack back onto the ramp. Vader grabs the chair and hits Jack. Vader DDTs Jack on the chair. Paramedics are out to check on Cactus. Vader pushes them away and pins Jack. Rest period. Jack up. Jack with a DDT to Vader, but lands on the chair. Referee Nick Patrick counts Jack down. Race pulls out an electric prod and stuns Cactus. Vader up and wins the match. The crowd boos. Jack attacks Race after the match. Tony and Jesse recap the night and sign off from New Orleans. We then get our end credits. Final thoughts. This wasn't a bad show. The last 3 matches were good. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at @TheJoeyHarris. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or your preferred podcast app. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey saying so long from the heart of Virginia.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.